Hi, my name is Dr. Todd Kays, and I am a sports psychologist, mental coach for the past almost 25 years. Now, I work with all sports, but certainly golf is my passion. It's the sport I know the best, and it's the one that most people know is an extremely mental sport, as they say. Now, one of the things I've learned in the last 25 years is simply that many people have great skill, they have great fitness, but their minds are what's holding them back in their game. So many times I hear, he's got a great swing, she's got a great swing. And I look at it and it's amazing. Some of the most amazing swings I continue to see year after year. All of these things we know, from the swing to the body, those do not translate into making the squad to travel at the college level. It doesn't mean you're going to make the #1 spot on your high school team or finish in a top 10 AJGA event. Or if you're a mini tour player, that you're going to make the cut. The piece that's really missing is the mind. Again, that's what holds people back. Fear, anxiety, overthinking their swing, worried about outcomes, thinking into the future, such as being on number 15 and thinking about how you're going to finish, not letting go of what happened on the previous hole where you may have missed a 3-foot putt to save par. That's the mind. Again, you may have incredible skills, have one of the most fit and strong bodies, but that doesn't translate to lower scores. The mind is where the missing piece is, and that's what I do. That's what I'm passionate about, and that's why I work in the field of golf psychology, and I want to make my players have all three of those components. So if you think about golf as a three-legged stool in order to be your best. So there's the skill component. That's what you do most of the time. Swinging the wedge, swinging the driver, working with a swing coach, all extremely important. And then you think of the second leg as the body. So sometimes working with a TPI specialist, making sure you're flexible, you're strong, you're powerful, so that your swing speed is where it needs to be to hit the ball further off the tee. All of those sorts of things. But the third leg of the stool is the mind, and that's always the weakest part. And that's not because golfers don't want to work at that area, it's because they don't know how. There are so many books out there and so many podcasts out there that talk about concepts, that talk about theory, that talk about great stories of people they've worked with, but that doesn't make it real. So for my players, I want to make it real. So when we're practicing the mind, they're going to have drills. Just like a swing coach is going to give students their drills, they're going to have mental drills. And if they do that, they are going to strengthen that third leg of the stool. So that is what is so important, and what I'm so passionate about is to make this stuff real. When I wrote Sports Psychology for Dummies, one of the things that it taught me was to make things real. And so ever since that point, I've wanted to make how somebody performs mentally very real. So we talk about managing fear. We talk about letting go of mistakes. We talk about being in the present moment. We talk about being able to stay calm in pressure situations. But one of the things that golfers do not know how to do is practice that. So that is what I make real for them. And we don't just make it real by sitting in an office. I am with the players on the range, on the putting green, in the bunker, on the course. I am watching them in tournament play. I want to make sure, one, that they are doing exactly what they need to be doing, much like a swing coach would give them wedge drills, I want to make sure they're doing the mental drills. Because if they don't, they're not going to get any better. So the mind is a muscle, works like every other muscle in your body. So if you practice your wedges once a month, that's how good you're going to be. If you practice, your wedges once a week, that's how good you're going to be. 3 or 4 times a week, that's how good you're going to be. And it's the same with your fitness. The mind is the same way. If you practice your mind, what I call simply practicing your mind, once a month, that's how good you're going to be. You're not going to be able to score. Because again, I see players with incredible swings, but that does not translate into scoring. And the bottom line is, that's what matters. So if you want to get that college scholarship, they want to know what your scores are. They don't care how you do it. If you're on the mini tours and you want to make the cut, you got to score. And it's the same with my tour players, the mini tour players, the college players, and the juniors that I work with. But I want to see them make sure that they have the mental abilities, the mental toughness, the mental resilience to make sure their skill comes out. Because I see them working so hard on their swings, so hard on their bodies, only to put themselves in a tournament position where they don't score. And it has nothing to do with their skill. It has nothing to do with their bodies. It's because they did not prepare their minds. And the biggest reason, they didn't know how. But that's where we're going to change that. That's where I change with my students, is that they simply know how. When I say to them, I need you to relax under pressure, and I need you to practice that skill, they are going to have drills every single day, every single week, that they're going to know how to do it. And it's going to be most of the time with the club in their hand. And so that's what is so critical, is that third leg of the stool has to be strengthened, because it's always the weakest. And it's simply because golfers don't know how to practice it. But that stops when it comes to me. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to show them. And it's really not that difficult. Does it take time? Yes. Does it take practice? Yes. If it were that easy, we would all do it. But I want my golfers to know that this can be real. It's all mental skills that can be taught. There's nobody who has the market on them. The tour players that I work with, they weren't born with this. They learned this skill much like they did how to hit a driver. These are skills that everybody has the ability to learn, and that's what I'm going to teach you, to make sure that when you go out on the golf course, that three-legged stool is strong. Because if all 3 legs are not, the stool's not going to stand up, particularly under pressure. And there's more pressure today in golf because so many people are getting better and better, and the resources and the technology is so much better that some of the juniors that I work with throughout the country have incredible swings. But again, does that translate? Do they know how to make those swings when it counts? And that's what I want to make sure every single golfer that comes through my doors has that ability, to make sure that they're going to score. Make sure that their mind is in the same place and at the same level that their swing and their bodies are. That's my commitment, and that's what I want to do, and that's where I'm passionate, and that's what you're going to get, and it's going to be real. It's going to be on the course. It's going to be on the range. It's going to be on the putting green. It's not going to be sitting in an office, because you have to perform on the golf course, so we're going to practice mentally on the golf course. So again, I hope you've been able to understand a little bit more about how this whole mental piece that we talk so much about. And if you listen to the tour, you'll notice that the announcers will frequently talk about mental toughness, or a player's ability to manage pressure, or not to be affected by the crowds, or the meaning of the shot, and so forth. Well, that is a skill that they've developed. They weren't born with that. And so I want you to know that you can develop those same skills so that you maximize your golf performance. And it's not just having a great swing, it's actually bringing the scores down, because that's ultimately what matters. So if you're interested and you want to learn more and you truly are tired of having a great swing but it not translating, get on to the website, Dr. Todd K's Golf. I have plenty of resources. I have all things from books to podcasts to videos, as well as setting up consultations and sometimes group trainings throughout the country. Take a look at it, get in contact with me, and I'll make sure that your mind doesn't hinder your game.